A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year wherever you are in the world. It's the Liechtenstein Challenge time again with Vaduz, and it's the end of Season 10. Can you believe that? We've got a big match against Young Boys today, and potentially we could finish the season on a high, finishing third in the league. Let's get it done, shall we? Roll that title. This is how we are looking at 20 games into the season, so we've fallen a little bit short from the last time that you saw us against Winterthur in 7th place on 28 points. We are very close to the European places in the league phase anyway, which is what the board is expecting us to do this season. However, if we do win the Liechtenstein Cup, that objective should be achieved anyway, depending on where we finish. It shouldn't matter. And just with regards to the schedule, this is the highlighted games that we played since the Winterthur match. We do have a match against Luzern today, which I will be playing off YouTube. And then we'll be going through these other games, and then we will be getting to the Basel game. So yeah, so we have made it to the Liechtenstein Cup semi-final against ourselves. We beat Rugel 2, who basically don't have any players in their team. We beat them 11-0, but after the Winterthur game, which we lost 1-0, we lost 2-1 to Luzern. Goals from Barry. Akirek got an equaliser, but it wasn't enough. Then a home tie against Basel, in which we won 3-1. Maximiano and Akirek with the goals. Durnay with a goal for Basel. Unfortunately, we couldn't continue that form. Toon decided to beat us 4-1. Goals from Alba, Carvalho, Bolla. Ordonez did get a consolation goal, an equaliser in the first half, but it just didn't matter. Then a really frustrating defeat to Young Boys, 2-1. Magnus Gilholm put us up 1-0 before the break, but Legui and Malaise scored for Young Boys. And then a 2-0 defeat to one of our bogey teams, Luzern. Lars Villiger in the 17th and the 24th minute. As I mentioned, we beat Rugel 2. We then proceeded to beat Stade Lausanne Ushi 4-1. Goals from Gilholm twice, Maximiano and Akirek. Mucci got a consolation goal, but it wasn't enough. And then a run of 3 draws back-to-back, all being 1-1. So the first was at home to Zurich. We got a 1-1 draw thanks to a goal in the last minute from Gilholm, Jenny scoring for Zurich. Then at St. Gallen, we got a goal from Teitman, Valadi scoring for St. Gallen. Then away to Servette, we got a draw. Unfortunately, we probably should have won this game, but Digori got a goal for Servette in the 90th minute. Gilholm scoring in the 50th minute for us. After that, we beat Lugano 3-1 thanks to goals from Ordonez and 2 goals from Lampert. Sandro Rickenbacher got a goal for Lugano, but we secured the 3 points against them. And then Winterthur, away from home, we got a 1-1 draw. Goal from Simon Beale. Fisher getting the goal for Winterthur. As of recording, I just wanted to show you a couple of signings that we've made and some departures that have been needed due to the club's financial situation. So as you can see, transfers out has been 13.75. Transfers in have been 1.4. We were in a bit of debt, I must admit. We were at 11 million. We've got it back down to 2.5 at the moment. However, we're still in a little bit of trouble with transfers. So in terms of incomings, it's been Rodrigo, who you may have seen in the last video, who we signed on a 80k deal from Brusque. A Brazilian right back who is potential, looks okay. So we'll see how this goes with Rodrigo. Another signing was Gavalitia, who is a Moldovan / Portuguese central midfielder, 16 years old. Basically signing this guy for the future. Basically signing this player from Mafra in Portugal. One for the future, definitely. But we'll see if he gets the development that he needs to become a really good player for us. And just to finally, somebody I spotted in Spain, funnily enough, is Julian Foreman. He was signed for 155k, a Liechtenstein national of all people in Spain. I didn't notice him, but I think for what he looks like, 17 years old, we had to sign him for what we paid him for. He's currently playing in the Premier Federation Group 1 for Laredo, and I've probably butchered that name, but yeah, Laredo are just in the um, almost on mid-table, near the relegation group. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. The reason I loaned him out is that he doesn't need, obviously, the Liechtenstein nationality. Obviously, he won't get the homegrown status because that'll be at Laredo. But he is 17 years old, so that is promising with regards to that. But I think that's a really good signing for us. In terms of departures, I'm just gonna show you the fees rather than the date themselves. So the first major departure was Bard Westerlund. He got an offer from Bochum, which the board couldn't turn down, and he has left us for 6.5 million, which has helped us with the finances as well. We've also sold Robin Dan as well, a high prospect for the future, but Kaiserslautern just came in with an offer, and I just couldn't turn that down for a guy that we signed for free. Basically, we've made 5 million profit on him. The potential is definitely there, but I don't see it on in terms of a consistency rating. Obviously, only had 3 games for us, but I couldn't turn down the 5 million that we got for Robin Dan. And also, we sold Gustavo Quatra, so he wouldn't renew a new contract. He wanted to go basically, and his contract was due to expire. And we forked Ibor about £2 million out of that signing. So we signed him for nothing, and we've got about 2.75 million for Quatra. He's gone to Ibor. We wish him. I was going to say we wish him nothing but the best, but he's been a bit of a pain in the last couple of months. But yeah, it was really close to getting that Liechtenstein nationality, but I couldn't turn it down for how much we were going to get from, and it is what it is, I suppose. The only other transfer that I want to bring to your attention, in terms of outgoings, Noah Siddiqui will be leaving us for around 100 grand. He's going to join Elfsborg in Sweden. We wish him nothing but the best. Like I say, a long servant of the club, 139 games. The last couple of seasons, he's just been a bit off, I must say. He was really useful when he came in for what we paid for him. Obviously, we've made a loss on him, but I just thought the time was right to let him go. And I feel like we're in potentially the time for him where he's got the Liechtenstein nationality. Let's move him on. And yeah, like I say, we wish him nothing but the best. Here we have the youth intake for 2023. It's below average intake. It isn't particularly the best intake we've had, but it's certainly not the worst. As you can see, we've only really got one really good talent, but I think that's because over the last 2-3 seasons we've had very good intakes. So I'm not surprised in a slight drop. It'll be a test next season though, whether to see we get a better intake with regards to new gens coming into the club. However, let me show you a couple of them that look to be top/good talents. I probably will go through and have a look at the decent talents and just see if there's anybody there that maybe we can develop or ship out to a couple of other Liechtenstein clubs or foreign clubs. You never know. But let me start off with Tim Schultz, who is a wing-back, funnily enough. We don't normally play with wing-backs unless we go to the three at the back formation, but looks like a decent full-back slash wing-back that can play. And yeah, has got an okay potential ability, nothing fantastic. The one thing that worries about me with Schultz is that he's a mercenary, but okay in terms of the top talent. Then we've got Tim Klausnitzer, a goalkeeper, 6'1", nothing to really scream home about, but looks like a decent overall goalkeeper. We'll try and develop him a little bit better. Paul Buscheister, another left back, nothing to really scream home about, but maybe somebody we can develop with that determination being high and the teamwork being high as well. Noah Best looks like an okay ball winning midfielder on defence. Fairly professional as well. Maybe somebody for the future there, who knows. Then we got Sandro Heen, who is a right back. Nothing to really scream home about here, unfortunately, but he does have good determination and is fairly determined, so that is a good stat for his personality at least. Then we got Rico Amelsberger, who is another ball-winning midfielder. Looks okay. Determination's not great though. Unambitious as well, which isn't fantastic. And then we got a left winger called Patrick Lampert. Wonder if he's related to a certain other Lampert, but yeah, nothing to scream home about. I'm not going to go through the decent talents, but you can see them there. If any of the names do scream out at you, let me know in the comments, and I can surely provide you a link with their stats. That's the intake. I'm just going to update you on a couple of transfers, and then we'll get into the rest of the schedule. In terms of the January transfer window, we've only really had one major signing come in, and that is Alex Morris. We've initially got him on a loan deal, 5'11", but I really like the look of him, and he is developing really nicely. Signed him on a deal that will bring him in for around, I think it's 2.6 million that we paid for a mandatory fee. I really like the look of him already. The only thing that maybe concerns me a little bit is his 5'11", but he can play across the right and the left, and maybe if he gets a little bit taller, we'll get him at centre back. But it's not the end of the world at 5'11", but potentially somebody there who could play at centre back as an emergency, but also can play as a wing back if we need to go to a three at the back formation. But really happy with this, and he's not the only English player that was signing this window. And also in terms of a hot prospect, we've brought another player from Spain who is doing quite decent, I must admit, from CD Korea. Probably butchered that name, so we'll go from there. Anyway, Ricardo Rambaldi, who is a 17-year-old striker. We've signed him for 115k. We've let him go back on loan to the team in Spain. I just like the look of him. I think he's got good potential. So that's the reason I picked him up. 6 foot as well. Value immediately screams out at me, 6.27 million. So we're picking up these youngsters, but the value is there already. So we need to keep an eye on this with regards to developing them. Because really the reason I'm even picking these up is to obviously help us in the future. But if worse comes to worse, we sell them on for a profit, or we get them into the Liechtenstein national team. That's sort of the three sort of goals of any players outside of Liechtenstein that we're trying to do in this save. So as I say, sign them to develop the team in Vaduz. Worst comes to worst, we might have to sell them, but we sell them at a profit to help develop the team. And then finally, the Liechtenstein national sort of option. But I'm really happy with the signing. Already scored 5 goals as well in his short loan spell this season. So we'll hopefully see him in the future. And then just a couple of loan signings we brought in. Maël Peffier, who's a French 19-year-old we brought in from Epinal, which I believe is a Swiss club. Basically, just to shore up numbers, and that's the same with Rafael Campana, who is a fullback. There is the option to sign him on a permanent deal from Jamax, but that's not going to be the case, I don't think. But looks okay and covers both left and right back, which is really good for us in this short period before the hopefully championship group. And just one outgoing, it's Tomasz Globeski, He hasn't really developed as much as I liked, and Water Poznan, who have got a ridiculous budget, I must add, for Poland. That's around £11 million. Um, Paid roughly 750k for him, obviously with add-ons and stuff. Um, he's just not really developed as much as I hoped from the season that we brought him in last year. And yeah, I just wanted to move him on as quickly as possible. We have got the 50% percentage fee on him, um, which is a good thing. So we'll take it from there. And when I did mention another English player coming into Vaduz, we're going to sign Kenneth Cassar. Unfortunately, he is out injured at the moment for 2 to 5 months and is still at West Ham, but he's going to be joining us on a permanent deal in the summer. 6'1" right back who can potentially play at left back, and also I believe we can develop this guy into a centre back if we desperately need him as well. But I really like the look of him. The only thing that slightly worries me is his injury record. There's no serious injury apart from this crucial ligament, and a lot of the other injuries usually appear to be a couple of weeks/days. But we'll just keep an eye on this. But I really think we've got a catch there at right back. Two good, solid English right backs that can hopefully help develop Vaduz. We're also going to sign Anthony Espinoza from Universidad Cesar Vallejo in Peru. He's already been capped at an under 20 level, but I really like the look of him. 6'4", got room to develop, and we're always on the lookout for the next best goalkeepers. So yeah, really happy with the signing, and you may see him in the future. Here is how the table is looking after 32 games for ourselves, but overall it's 33 games. This is the last match before the league splits into two, and we are going to end up in the championship group. So we are on 55 points. Our game today is against Basel. I will obviously update you with regards to how we do against Basel after this match, and then we will roll on to the final game in the championship group, and I'll obviously give you that updated table at the end there. As you can see, Young Boys are top, we are fourth, and Stade Lausanne Ushi are at the bottom. Here's the update for the schedule before the Basel game. So after that Winter Fair match, we had a home tie against Marseille, which was a friendly. We were thoroughly beaten by Marseille 3-1. Not going to go into the details of that. Then we had a home tie against Lausanne. It looked like we were going to concede a defeat to Lausanne thanks to Barry's first goal in the 17th minute. However, Teitman got a goal in the 79th minute, securing a 1-1 draw for us. Then an away defeat to Basel. We did equalise after Esposito's goal in the 10th minute there. As you can see, Oidendenk in the 17th, but he got a goal in the 24th. And Renato Vega, who in real life plays for Chelsea now, scored a 25th minute goal. We did get a consolation through Maximiano in the 87th minute. We did, however, get a result against Thun. This wasn't looking like it was going to go our way in the first half, but we got an equaliser thanks to Claudio. Hugo Alba got a goal in the 35th minute, and then 2 goals from Magnus Gilholm. Tom scoring a goal for Thun in the 95th minute. That was then followed up by a 1-0 victory away from home, can you believe it, to Young Boys. We got a goal thanks to Leon Ebold in the 80th minute. Really nice goal, all from Magnus Gilholm. And yeah, a really well-deserved 1-0 victory. Then a 1-1 draw to Luzern. Goals from Lewin Sodanovic and Oidendenk. We followed that up with a 3-1 victory against Stade Lausanne Ushi. They are the worst team in the division this year, so I'd be surprised if we don't get any results against Stade Lausanne Ushi. Then a frustrating 0-0 draw away to our bogey team Zurich, as well as Luzern. Always like to mention Luzern and Zurich as bogey teams. We probably should have won this game, but after the Zurich game, we went on a 5-game winning run that involved a 3-1 victory against St. Gallen. Goals from Adogu, own goal from Ziggy and Simon Beale. Mambimbi getting a goal from St. Gallen. Then another victory thanks to David Adogu from a corner. 1-0 against Servette. Then we smashed Lugano, a bit of revenge for earlier in the season. Maximiano and a hat-trick from Dick Oidendenk. Then a 2-1 victory against Winterthur and revenge for our defeat to them earlier in the season. Goals from Spinnerath and Simon Beale. Lugani getting a goal for them in the 28th minute. And then just before the semi-final in the Liechtenstein Cup, we got a 2-0 victory thanks to goals from Akurek and Lampert against Luzern. A 3-0 victory at home to Vaduz 2, goals from Simon Beale and Faye. And I'm just going to do this game now against Basel, and then we'll get straight into the Championship group stage. This is how the final game finished. We beat Basel comfortably 3-1 at home thanks to goals from Simon Beale and 2 screamers from Noah Lampert. Deme got a goal in the last minute, but in terms of the Super League, we have finished in the regular season anyway 4th. There will be 5 games remaining to see if we can maybe catch Young Boys and Luzern. It's not impossible, but my aim this season is to try and get into the 2nd and 3rd places like we did last season. We've obviously had a bit of a rough season. We started off really well and then took a little bit of a dip, but we've regained this sort of form. And we are now in 4th position, looking really strong going into this Championship group. I would say probably our biggest test is probably going to be the 3 teams above us. St. Gallen and Toon should be easy enough, but we can't write them off at all. In terms of player stats, none of our players are in the top 3, which is a little bit concerning, but not the end of the world. But I will next season be looking to put more effort into getting into the European phases, as I'm just going to take a little sidetrack. The finances are still not looking particularly great, and we need that money from Europe, with the player wages being a really big pain at the moment. That's the updated schedule and the league phase. I'm going to race through this Championship group, and you will see my face at the last game of the season. Here we are for the last game of the season against Young Boys, and as I mentioned in the last section of the video, just going to do a quick rundown of how the Super League Championship group is looking, and I'll also show you how we did in the Liechtenstein Cup. You can probably see though from the bottom of the screen. So after that home win against Basel, we took a trip to St. Gallen, where we lost 4-2, a really frustrating result after the number of games that we went unbeaten. You can see here we went from January against Toon all the way to April, not losing a single game, and then we get into the Championship group. St. Gallen beat us thanks to goals from Corson in the 25th and the 68th minute respectively. Not going to even bother pronouncing that guy's last name. Ali Demirel and Ozzy Kola scoring goals for St. Gallen. We got some consolations from Johnson and Oidendenk. Then it was a really bad display at Basel. We lost this 3-0 thanks to goals from Ara Terpanki, I believe that's how I say it, So and Bulede. I've probably butchered those names again, but hey ho. And also Kasper Kaminski also got sent off in that game, so it was really annoying after that run that we went on, that we decided to completely capitulate in those 2 games. However, we did have the Liechtenstein Cup final, which we won 4-0 thanks to goals from Simon Beale, Bashinger and Kaminski. There wasn't really much of a problem. We rotated quite heavily in this game. The only senior players being Sani, who was probably played his last game for the club, Beale, Spinnerath, and probably Kaminski. The rest were either reserves or under 19 players, so good result for us there. Then an away trip to Toon. Corey got a goal in the 31st minute, but Maximiano got equalisers in the 32 and the 43rd minute. And then Noah Lampert had probably one of his best games in the Vaduz shirt, 2 goals in the 48th and 68th minute, followed by a goal from Simon Beale in the 56th minute, beating them 5-1, and I'll show you from the stats, we thoroughly dominated this match. Then it was a home tie against our other bogey team that's not Zurich, Luzern, who are doing really well in the league at the moment. We beat them 3-0. Goals from Simon Beale and Magnus Gilholm. And probably based off the stats, you would say it should have been a draw, but they just didn't turn up for this game, whatever. And we now have a really interesting tie against Young Boys. So at the moment, we are guaranteed 4th place. St. Gallen cannot catch us. Basel are going to concede the title to either Luzern or Young Boys. Luzern play Thun away today, and Young Boys play ourselves away. So we have an impact on the title race. We also have the consideration that Basel are on 66 points. If they lose and concede by 5 goals, which I find highly unlikely, or they draw and we score 6 or 7 goals, we might finish above them. But hopefully they can lose today and we can beat Young Boys and finish in 3rd place. But I think from where we've been in the season, if you look at our past positions, it's been a rough year. Because we haven't really been in that 8th or 9th spot for a long period of time, the 7th spot. So we started really well, ended up getting 1st, and then I think we just went out of Europe and we just took a massive plummet. And for the majority of the season, we've ended up in that sort of 5th, 6th, 7th place, not deciding whether to go through that relegation group or the championship group. And since the St. Gallen game in March, we've consistently been 4th in the league, which has been really good. Obviously, if you look at our previous positions, we finished 2nd last season, so it's a little bit of a downgrade. But if you also look at the last couple of seasons, since we've been promoted from the Challenge League, it's been 9th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and then a 2nd. If we finish in the top 4 here, I think that's a really good season for us as well. And we've also got Europe. This is the team we are going to go with against Young Boys today. So unfortunately, Sobotka is out injured, so it is going to be our Spanish goalkeeper, Luis Pastor, although he's looking like he's going to be more German than Spanish, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get him as a Liechtenstein national. But yeah, that's another story for another day. Anyway, we've got Alex Morris, our English right back, who is going to become permanent in the summer, and I'm really pleased with him so far. Kaminski, who is unhappy because of a team talk in the Liechtenstein Cup final. Don't even want to get into that. We're going to have Faye in defence to partner him. Guarini, our left back from Italy. Johnson, Teitman, and Lampert in midfield with Simon Beale, Akirek, and Maximiano in the striker position. That is because Gilholm hasn't been thoroughly consistent, really, and also we've got Oidendenk, who is injured. His rehabilitation, along with Danny Spinnerath, is also due tomorrow, so they're going to be on the bench, apart from the obvious players that you can see here. We've also got Schubert, Serban, Araj, Adogu, and Engler on the bench, and we also have a Liechtenstein player, Kristen, who is non-playable. Who is going to be our standing goalkeeper today, but hopefully we won't use him. I'm going to get straight into the match and we'll see you there. This is the lineup that Young Boys are going to play against us today in the final game of Season 10, and as you can see, this is how things are looking with regards to the league table. So Young Boys need a win or a draw. With regards to the draw, they need to hope that Luzern lose. But with regards to ourselves, we need to make sure that we win and hope that Basel lose or Basel draw. And at the moment, we score 5 more goals than them. But yeah, we need St. Gallen to do us a favour. But it looks like we've got a highlight straight away. Unfortunately, Oh, the pressure's getting... Oh, my God. Noah Lampert this season, he had a little bit of a fallout with me earlier in the season, right? And I don't know if that is the cause of this, but he has been scoring bangers outside the net like that in the second half of the season. And that is no exception. That is a tremendous start for us, and it puts us into third place immediately. And that is massive in terms of the title race because, yeah, young boys are potentially losing the title race. Having said that, though, Ackerman has just scored an equaliser for them, so it's back to square one. Apologies that I mixed up the win for us. It looks like we are going to have to hope that Basel do get beat off St. Gallen and we win our game to guarantee third place. So it looks like we're on the same point at the moment, yeah, on 64. So that was my apologies on that. But at the moment, we are currently finishing fourth. Luzern are winning 2-0, so it doesn't matter what happens at the moment. 2 need to come back. Yeah, young boys aren't going to win the league, which is good for the league, I think. I really do think it's good. They haven't won the league in a long time. I don't think they've won the league since we got promoted, funnily enough. Anyway, Simon Beale there, a bit unlucky. I feel like if we're not doing it already, we should be pressing that goalkeeper because they're playing a lot of balls. They're playing a really high line as well. I'm tempted to go on the counter-attack. Great save from Pastor. Let me just have one look before we get into this. So yeah, we are preventing the goalkeeper from just booting it short. I thought that might have been a penalty for some reason there for young boys. They have a corner though. Jashari. Passed over, another good save. I did say in earlier in the video that, and I think in the last video, that he would be our number 2, or potentially our number 2 this season, and he's done a really good job for when he's been called upon. So yeah, he's probably going to be our number 2 next season as well. So, but so far, Basel are winning at the moment, unfortunately. Maximiano, potentially a penalty. I mean, it looks harsh, but then again, we've had a lot of penalties. Those penalties have been 50-50 this season. They've either been given or we haven't been lucky, unfortunately. I am tempted to go on the counter attack against young boys. I know it's at home. Having said that, though, we've got a corner now. Young boys clear it really well, though. Tightman, Fair, Johnson, lovely ball to Beale. It goes back to Johnson anyway. Garini really needs to do something with this. Fair, Johnson, Kaminsky, back to Johnson, Tightman. Ball into Maximiano. I think he's offside though. He is not. He's beat the offside trap. I don't know who finds Tightman there, but yeah, it's Johnson. But that is a great ball over the top to Maximiano. He's really developing, and he's come into his own, Tightman. I will show you him at half time how much he's developed this year. He is just a bit of a joke, and he's only 20 years old, and the guy is already on 3.5 stars, and I think he's going to be a 5-star player. Yeah, let's just hope we can keep hold of him because I really do value him. But yeah, really good first half from us there. I'm going to say we're doing okay, but I'm not particularly happy with the defence. Glad Pastor hasn't taken offence to that. And yeah, You weren't bad, but you weren't great. Taitman, Kaminsky, back to Taitman, Beal, Kaminsky. It's amazing how I remember in the Challenger League where we just could not play out from the back at all because we just didn't have the players, and now look at we. And this is against young boys, and we are just playing them off the park here. Maximiano, that is a brilliant goal. Just passing them into death at the back. They can't press us up high. They're trying to press us really high here. But Taitman again, a ball over the top to Maximiano, and Maximiano's. I've been playing him out on the wing a lot this season, but recently I just stuck him up front, and yeah, that's maybe down to Dick Oidendink, but I really want him to become my central focus of attack. You know, that's why we signed him. Okay, Acurec's not looking like he's having a good game anyway. Lampert loses the ball. And that's a really poor goal to concede. Schneider getting an equaliser in the 60th minute. We were playing really well. Lampert loses the ball there. Didn't really like that. Dos Santos, it's an easy ball for him. Faye and Guarini should be doing better there. I think we will make some changes though. Guarini's nervous, so that's a main thing for me to take him off. I haven't really got any alternative at left midfield, have we? Unless I play Danny Spinner off. Yeah, let's do that. I know it's not his ideal role, but I want to keep Simon Beale on the pitch because he's been doing, like I say, just to show you how much he's developed, and he's only 19. It shows you we're doing really well here with our young players. And I'm going to show you a couple of young players at the end of the season that might be making it into the first team next year. Or we certainly try to sell them off for a profit. And Jashiri, that's how good young boys are, though. Like today, 5 shots on target, 5 general shots. Yeah, 5 shots on target, and I mean, yeah, Pastor was doing really well, and it's blown up in my faces. Unfortunately, Basel are not going to lose, I don't think, against St. Gallen. But I've berated them now. Hopefully that kicks them at the backside. I'm worried we're slightly playing a little bit deeper than I would like to there, but anyway, here's a Raj. Loses the ball. Very high up. We have got cover for him though. I was thinking about going on the cautious side, and you know what? I am tempted to do that now. Jashari, it's long shots. I'm going to go with the counter attack. I just feel like we're getting exposed, like really high up on the pitch. And I would like to finish this season on some form of a result rather than losing. So it's been a very even game for both teams, to be fair. 10 shots, 7 on target for both teams. Possession, more of an our side. We've had more XG. So I'm quite surprised by that. I'm going to go balanced on this cautious side. I'm going to make a couple of more changes with it just being 5 minutes. Martin Sherbet. Engler as well. Dogu. I think that's my 5 changes that we can make, so that's all we're going to do. Just to freshen them up a little bit, hopefully. Nothing too bad there. St. Gallen now getting a draw. It wouldn't matter anyway. if we won. Esposito with a 90th minute winner, it looks like. A commendable 3-3 draw there. Disappointing that we didn't win the game, but I can't really complain. Yeah, I'm going to say that. But it looks like Luzern have won the league, which is the first time. First time Luzern have won the league since 1989. Jesus Christ, that is a long time ago in this save anyway, and in real life. In terms of the Challenger League, so let me just show you that. So, Jamax have been promoted. They are the champions. They haven't been in the Super League since 2028-29, so they tend to be a team that flirts with relegation quite a bit. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I've also added some kits for them. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. I've tried to be a little bit different with each kit, but keep the same manufacturer. And Grasshoppers, funnily enough, are in the playoffs, and they are going to be playing Lugano, who have had a really bad season, and I mean a really bad season. Yeah, they have. If we have a look at the league table, they were 7 points behind Zurich, so it's going to be interesting. It would be nice to see two different teams in the league, but usually with the playoffs, it's usually the team in the Super League that has the advantage. But I suppose I'll update you on that next season, I suppose. In terms of us, we didn't get anybody in the player stats. Barry getting 24 goals this season. I do like Barry. 30 years old now, though, but I think we've got a number of players that I like to keep an eye on. But yeah, just with regards to how we are doing, so just an update on the finances. So we're still in debt. However, I would expect that to change soon with maybe a departure or so. Just quickly overview with regards to the squad. So Koulibaly will be sold in the summer, or he'll be loaned out. Adogu is probably going to get potentially sold as well, because he's not overly committed to the team, and I wouldn't be disappointed if he left. I'd like him to stay, but yeah, if he does need to go, so be it. I mean, Faye looks like a really up and coming promising centre back, and I really like the look of him for what we signed him for. I'm also not bothered if he gets Senegalese nationality. He's that good of a player. There's probably going to be a couple of departures, so Claudio is going to be leaving because he basically wants to leave. The other player that is going to be leaving as well, who's been for quite some time, is Christian Weber. So his nationality is due, so it's going to be 38 days, and then we're going to let him go once he gets Liechtenstein nationality. Also, Martin Schubert is a Liechtenstein national now. He's just waiting on eligibility, which is 38 days. I think he's gone, unfortunately. I just think the quality for him there, we need to kind of move him on, especially. And the only other player that will probably be leaving is Araj. So he is really close to eligibility as well. And that might be the last. I don't want to say it's going to be the last, but it's going to be. There's going to be signings going forward. I think coming from this season onwards, where we are going to be not necessarily looking at Liechtenstein nationality in terms of things. It's nice to get it. Also, just to mention as well, if I haven't done so already, Dick Oidendeng's got Liechtenstein nationality, which is great. He secured a new contract as well because he had a really good season with us as well. In terms of youngsters, I want to show you these two youngsters that I may have already showed you already, but I think they are potentially ready for the first team. So the first one is Silla, who I really, really like the look of. I think this guy can go in the first team personally. Corners and free kick taking, 18 years old. I think he goes into the first team, and also Kamara. They're both developing really nicely. And to be honest, if an insane bid comes for either of them, I'm not going to stand in the way if it makes us profitable. But I'm really liking the look of these two guys, and then we've also got Marcus Kuhn as well. We can't take anything away from him. And also, I think Muller replaces Lampert maybe next season. I don't know permanently if he does that, but the guy is 6 foot, and I don't think I can keep him in the reserves for much longer, in my opinion. But yeah, with regards to other players, I mean, the only other one I can really think of, maybe is Bellingham might make a first team appearance unless we get a crazy offer for him. We're losing a couple of youngsters that I don't really want to, like. I don't really want to lose Ryderberg, for example. But his contract's expired. He didn't want to return it. So, it is what it is, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah, positives for next season, and we are gonna basically be putting our best team out in Europe next year, which we did last season. It's just unfortunately the opposition was just a little bit better than us. That's the end of the season for Vaduz. We finish on 65 points, finishing 4th in the league. Unfortunately, I wanted this season to be a bit of a European run, but that hasn't been the case, so apologies about that. But hopefully, fingers crossed, next season, we will get a better run in the qualifying phases of the Conference League, because I would like to go on a nice run in the Conference League. As much as I love winning the Liechtenstein Cup, I would like to win something other than the Liechtenstein Cup. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential coming through the side now, signing players for the future, and as you can see, they are developing really nicely with the improvements that we've made in the 10 seasons that we've been here. It's just that next step of getting consistently into the top 6 in the Swiss Super League and potentially breaking into that top 2, top 3 all the time. And then just having a consistent run in Europe. I will be taking Europe seriously next year. I did take Europe seriously this year. However, we just came up against a better team in the last game, which just screwed us a little bit. So that is that. And I will wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year wherever you are in the world, if you are celebrating that. If not, I hope you had a nice day, whatever you did. And if you have enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Take it easy, stay safe. Bye, everybody.